And that is the Brett technique of one highlighter is never enough. Always add at least 2. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are playing around with some of the most used techniques from some of the biggest influencers on YouTube. What I did was I have scoured all of the YouTube. I almost said the YouTube. I have scoured YouTube and I've been, I watch people all the time, but looking at some of the people and some of their like go-to techniques, I have been compiling a list, and today we are doing a full face of some of the most go-to ride or die techniques from some of the biggest names in the beauty industry. So if that's something you're into, make sure to keep on watching, and please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload 3 times a week, and that is the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see some of the best techniques from some of the biggest YouTubers, all done in one place, keep on watching. So the skin is already primed, and going in with the first influencer technique, I'm going to be going after the Jackie Aina technique of setting your primer with powder. I have never done this, and I hope it doesn't look like crap because I do have a lot of stuff to do today, but I'm going to grab a little bit of my Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder, and I'm just going to lightly put a thin layer of translucent powder over my primer. Now, I've been watching Jackie do this technique for years, and I have never thought to try it because I'm so big on the no creams over powders rule. So for me, I always thought like it was so counterintuitive. However, her skin looks great. And right now, I will say, everything does look mostly gently smoothed over. I did use a pore filling primer, but if this is gonna help it stay matter throughout the day and look better, I am all in. Next, we're gonna do the Jaclyn Hill technique for applying my foundation. So I'm gonna take a beauty sponge. This is the Morphe Jeffree Star sponge. And what she does is she'll take a pump of foundation on the flat side of her beauty sponge. She will dot it around the face. Then she will take her Fix Plus, spray down the sponge, and then blend out the foundation. So the powder underneath is not making anything grab weird. Everything does look really nice, which I am definitely surprised about. And the skin definitely does look nice and flawless. Jaclyn also has amazing skin and it always looks beautiful. So obviously if it comes from her, it's gonna be good. So for concealer, I'm gonna grab my trusty Tarte Shape Tape and I'm going to lay down my concealer where I normally put it. And then the next technique I'm gonna follow is one for sculpting the face, contouring and brightening that I picked up from Angel Marino, Mac Daddy here on YouTube. And what he does, and you'll notice, is he takes his concealer down and puts it everywhere he wants to brighten. Then he goes in with a concealer that is a shade lighter. This is the Fenty Beauty. And he will just focus that directly on the inner portion of the eye. That way it's going to give you this extra focused brightness on the inside. I have done this once before and I already know I like this technique, but it is really good. And with that, this is something that I saw Lily Ghalichi do. And what she does is when she puts her concealer on and she starts blending it out, the last thing she does is the under eye. She did an entire video dedicated to how she blends out concealer on her under eye, and I thought it was so cool that what she does is she puts her concealer on first and leaves it, because the longer the concealer stays on the under eye, the more pigment gets deposited, so it becomes a little bit more pigmented. And then when she does blend it out, she'll take her sponge and she will do the sides of the nose, up and around the cheek, but she won't touch the under eye. That'll be the very last thing she does, because she wants to make sure that everything else is blended out and brightened and smooth. And then the last thing she'll do at the very end is just gently blend out the very undermost part of the eye. And you see how the entire under eye is brightened, but right here in the center there's this extra focused glow, almost like a pre-highlight. That is exactly what we were going for. So when it comes to powder, there is absolutely no one who is more the authority on powder than Patrick Starr. So I'm going to be doing what he does and taking a tiny bit of translucent powder and taking that to set down the under eye. And then Patrick's staple, grabbing a powder puff. This is clean because clearly I never use a powder puff. I'm going to press into my translucent powder and powder the hell out of my face. Alright, so the face is powdered, and I will say I have no features left. This is definitely a technique for when you really want to cancel out all of your features. Alright, so I'm going to take, I was going to take more powder, and now that I think about it, I'm not adding any more powder. I'm going to go quickly prime my eyelids and throw on a quick brow, and I'll be right back. Alright, so eyes are primed and brows are done. Sticking to the Angel Merino technique of contouring, I'm going to take my contour shade in this Hourglass palette. And the way he contours his cheeks I actually think is really cool. He'll suck in the cheek to see where that definition is, and rather than buffing, he will stipple the product in where he wants it to be, just because he finds that that kind of sculpts the cheek a little bit more. And then once he's laid down that initial product, then he will go in and gently buff out that product. So this isn't really specific to any one person, but these massive bronzer brushes I have had for a while and never liked for bronzer. Lately I have been trying it out and I've been liking it more and more. So I am going to use this for my bronzer today. And this is the Tati Westbrook approach to the nose contour, by making sure that you connect it to the inner portion of the eye leading up to the brow bone. It makes it look like a natural contour, as opposed to the people who just will go like right here and it will abruptly cut off near the eye. So this next technique comes from Lipstick Nick and Jeffree Star. Take a little bit of your translucent powder once you are done with your bronzer and just lightly veil over it. And what that's going to do is it's going to help it blend into your skin to make it keep that natural approach and not look overly done, because that's going to help just to kind of tone everything together. Next up is the Manny MUA approach to blush. I'm going to be using his two favorites, the Morphe E4 and the Tarte Blush Book. I'm going to be dipping into Rah Rah, this shade up here. And the Manny approach to blush is find a shade you like and add a whole lot more than you think you need. And that's not shade, like it looks beautiful, but it is definitely more than I ever feel like I want. And then once I add it all, I find that I love the way it looks. So next up for highlighter, we're going to be taking the Amanda Ensing approach, which is start with some setting spray and set down the face. Then while the face is still wet, I'm going to dip into the highlighter of choice and then apply it to the top of the wet cheekbone. And that is just going to be like 10 times more vibrant and blinding than it would have been before. And then I do like to take a little bit of whatever blush is left on that brush and just stipple over the highlight and blend it up, just because I don't want there to be a stripe where the highlight is. I kind of want it to be a little more diffused into the blush because it is one cheek, and that's not how light works. And then just because it's me, I'm going to take a little bit of a white highlighter. This is my Nicole Guerrero Glow Kit. We're just going to hit up the highest point of the face. And that is the Brett technique of one highlighter is never enough. Always add at least 2. Then we set down the face one more time. So I'm going to quickly flash through how I do my eyes, just because I feel like it is my own technique mixed with a lot of other ones. The major technique that I use is actually a Desi Perkins technique, and that is with her first shade. She will dip into her transition shade on her brush, lean back, and close the eye with a mirror down below her. And she will buff her transition into the upper lid area. And by looking into a mirror down here with her head tilted back, it just helps to put, especially for hooded eyes, the transition in that perfect spot that it is still visible when the eyes are open. So I'm just going to quickly curl my lashes and throw on mascara. I'm trying to remember where I picked this technique up from, but it is to curl your lashes And then it is to layer 2 mascaras. First, we start off with a fiber mascara. This one is from the Surat Beauty line. This is the Reveille Fiber Mascara. And we comb up through the lashes. Then, same brush, we will brush back on the lashes. Then, going into our lifting and separating mascara, this is the Benefit Roller Lash. We then just take a quick little wiggle to finish the lash. And then this I picked up from Kathleen Lights. This is the Morphe B71. I'll just take a tiny little lash comb just to separate and finesse my lashes. So I'm gonna go quickly do that on the other eye and I'll be right back. So this also comes from Kathleen Lights. This is the Dream Street palette, and the shade in here, it is right down here called Moony. It is a beautiful satin sheen peachy shade. This has become my favorite brow bone highlight just because it's not too much. It's literally the perfect brow bone highlight shade. And then also coming from Jaclyn Hill, I'm going to take the Makeup Forever Starlit Powder in number 13. And I'm going to take that on, I mean it's a Jaclyn brush, the JH42. And I'm going to add that to the inner corner. So I'm just going to quickly line my lips in a dark neutral shade. Then I'm going to take a touch of a lighter lipstick in the center. And lastly, we're going to take a little bit of gloss over the top. And we have the Patrick Star lip. I definitely didn't overline nearly as much as he does, but for me, this is overlined enough. So thank you guys so much for watching. This has been quite a bit of fun actually, playing around with some of the biggest influencers' techniques. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know down below what you do and what kind of techniques you've taken from people over the years. I would love to hear down below what some of the most influential YouTubers are for you and what they have taught you. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!